Kochie's Business Builders is proudly supported by our partners who are putting small business first.
This week on Kochie's Business Builders, an Aussie skincare brand continues taking on the world. The Abalone farmer surviving a complete market lockout, and how to support Australian exporters now that borders are shut. Welcome to our special series of Kochie's Business Builders, where we're putting small business first. This week, we're shining a light on Australia's exporters and finding ways to support them in a time of crisis when borders are closing right around the world. We are a trading nation. It underpins the strength of our economy, and we've been making massive trade surpluses for the last couple of years. Just in May, that surplus was over $10 billion, and over 35% of those exports went to China. But it's not just the big miners and food producers who are making a mark on a global scale. More and more small businesses are selling their goods and services offshore thanks to the continuing growth of shopping online. Let's meet a Sydney entrepreneur who's selling to the world.
Hi, I'm Amanda Estery and I'm the founder and CEO of Lovekins. Lovekins is an Australian company. We specialise in skincare and wellbeing products, specific to babies, pregnant women and feminine hygiene, and also home cleaning products great for protecting the whole entire family. The concept actually came from my hometown of Darwin, and using really beautiful, unique Indigenous ingredients. We source our kakadu plum, which is the richest source of vitamin C on the planet, and blue cypress, which is really high in inflammatory and antibacterial ingredients. What really started Lovekins was when I had my daughter Heidi. She inherited my husband's really dry skin and was sourcing bush extracts, and I really discovered that they were actually helping her skin. So I gave up my 17 years in my corporate career in banking and finance to start Lovekins. We're marketing our products through our Lovekins website and also through digital ads, social media, as well as offline events in terms of trade shows. We also have been very heavily exporting in the last 5 years, predominantly in Asia, but also repurposing a lot of what we do in Australia through selling through grocery and pharmacy. I'm actually really proud that I can put my hometown of Darwin, the Northern Territory, on the map on a global scale, because it has been something that has been really important in terms of the native ingredients that we use in our products.
Isn't that a great story? I love seeing small businesses thrive off the back of a solution to a problem. But how exactly is Lovekins faring in the face of a crisis? Amanda Estery joins us now to tell us how she's doing in these uncertain times. Amanda, good to see you. It's a fantastic story. What happened to your business when COVID-19 hit?
I vividly remember that I was in Darwin visiting my dad, and everything started to lock down. But I was really eager to get back to Sydney to be with my team and my family, but also to understand what gaps and what exposures we had as a business. Definitely we have been impacted in terms of what was coming on ship in our raw materials, our componentries that we're still sourcing from overseas. It was challenging because air freight and shipping logistics were very expensive at that time, and what we tried to do was actually only air freight what we could just to support our sales, but then also ship what we could do as a continuity to support our business in the coming months.
Did it mean you also focused on your online marketing?
Absolutely. When everything was actually shutting down, even at the end of 2019 and also towards the beginning of 2020, we actually started ramping up production because we knew what was coming. So we ramped up production to ensure that our skincare was able to support our export partners, to support their online sales overseas, that we weren't impacted overseas, but also opportunity here in Australia to support grocery online. We're able to have our feminine hygiene products get into grocery, and that was able to support their business.
Which countries do you export most to? And I suppose it would have been almost a ripple effect of COVID on a staged basis in each of those markets.
It was. For the past 7 years, we've been heavily focused on Asia. China is a very heavy export partner of ours. Southeast Asia, Hong Kong, Korea, but we're looking to change that around in the coming months as we look at our business as a whole.
Yeah. What an amazing 3 months you've had. Instead of going into your shell, you've gone gangbusters to expand. But what about your forward planning? We're obviously in a recession now. Around the world, it's a lot deeper recession and it's going to be ongoing. How do you prepare yourself for that?
Well, this whole situation with COVID really has taken, look at what our exposures are, our gaps, and how we need to fill them. And what we're looking at is diversifying our export market and not just the Asian countries. We're looking at places like India, North America, and we're just about to launch in the Middle East. And also supporting local. Australia is in the best position right now to really focus on our ingredients, our natives and Indigenous, partners, and how we can showcase that to the world. So keeping manufacturing in Australia is a huge focus for us.
Amanda Essery from Lovekins, you are an inspiration. The way you've tackled this is just incredible. Thanks for sharing your story. Really appreciate it. Wow, isn't that fantastic? After the break, going global, what any business, even yours, can do to start selling to the world. But first, let's see what's on offer this week on the Small Business First Directory.
Hi, my name's Michelle Fisher and I'm the Director of Chorus Music Therapy Clinic in Geelong, Victoria. Our service specialises in music therapy programs for infants, children and young people with a neurological impairment, injury or disorder. We offer sessions here in our clinic in central Geelong, as well as home visits and school visits.
Kochie. I'm Catherine. I'm Christy. We have taken our many years of successfully job sharing together and are now educating employees that want to work flexibly, but also helping businesses implement successful job share within their organisation.
We take a super collaborative approach to helping businesses design their job share arrangements. Can't wait to hear from you.
Bye.
Now, don't forget to send your video in for a chance to get it shown right here on Kochie's Business Builders, and head to the Small Business First website to join thousands of others who have already listed on our directory for free. Now, this week, we're talking about how to support our exporters in a time of crisis. And joining me now is international business strategist, speaker and author, Cynthia Deeren. Cynthia, welcome to the program. Look, you've been on a mission to encourage small to medium-sized businesses to look overseas to export. How are we doing?
Well, it really depends on the sector. Right now, amongst my client base and the people that I speak to, I'm seeing the entire spectrum of experience, from people who are struggling to stay afloat, through to people who are doing kind of okay, through to people who are actually doing really, really well.
What are some of the other trends you're noticing from exporters in how they're tackling this whole issue, the crisis?
Look, a couple of things. People are really looking to diversify supply chains. So people are now very worried about supply chain risk out of China. So that's one on the good side. On the services side, there's a massive shift to people moving their IP and their content online. So suddenly, anybody who provides a service who used to have to sell face-to-face, even as little as 3 to 6 months ago, now has this opportunity to put their stuff either in an evergreen form on the internet, or to do workshops and presentations face-to-face virtually, because the market is much more accepting of that mode of delivery than they were just a short time ago.
So if you were thinking of getting into the export business, it's been on your mind for a while, is this a time to say, right, I just put it on the hold for the next year until there's a vaccine and the world comes out of this? Or are you seeing some really unique opportunities?
Oh, look, I think this is a time that you cannot let go to waste. If you're somebody who wants to take your business overseas and you've been saying for the last 3 or 5 or 10 years, oh, I want to go global, I want to expand internationally, but I just don't have time. And suddenly business has dried up and you've got some time and space. Now's the time to sit down and do that planning and that strategic thinking and that intellectual heavy lifting that you need to do to create a great strategy, and then to work out how you're going to resource it so that when things unfreeze and when you can travel again, that you can pick that up and go with that.
What would be your first step?
Do your research. Right. So figure out who your ideal client is. What does your ideal client want? What really matters to them? Is it going to be the same for clients here at home and clients overseas, or will it be different, and how will it be different? And then look at where should we go to market. So if you're a small business, I don't think you can sensibly do more than one market at a time. It just stretches you too far. So you need to be looking and thinking, okay, where can I get the best trade-off between opportunity, so the size of the opportunity, and feasibility? How difficult is it to do? So, you know, do I do China, which is massive but really quite tricky, or do I do New Zealand, which is very small but pretty easy, and you can probably quite soon get on a plane and go there?
Cynthia Dearant, some great advice there. Really appreciate your time. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
There you go. Do you feel inspired? I am. Give it a go. Up next, shell shock. The Abalone divers forced to hang their wetsuits out to dry rather than their product. And during the break, head to the Small Business First website to sign up your business or check out some of the others offering great deals.
Hi, I'm Tracina.
And I'm Tyree. We're the owners of Southern Soul, a vegan soul food business based here in Sydney.
We serve traditional foods from the Southern USA. That includes things like mac and cheese, barbecue ribs, and cornbread.
Since COVID-19, we've now switched to online delivery and pickup.
Go to southernsoulsydney.com and enter KBB as a promo code to receive 20% off your order.
We hope to see y'all soon.
Hi, I'm Layla from Living Carers. We source carers to live in with the families, whether it's personal care needs, whether it's cultural needs or gender needs. If you'd like to know more, please contact us, livingcarers.com.au.
Another terrific business there from the Small Business First directory, where you can go and find thousands of other small businesses in your area to support. You are watching a special series of Kochie's Business Builders, where we're putting small business first. Our next business was founded by two Tasmanian entrepreneurs who had the great idea to start tapping into the niche Chinese market for dried abalone. As the world's most expensive shellfish, customers on mainland China are willing to pay over $100 for an abalone meal, which makes their business very lucrative indeed.
Hi, I'm Mike Vecchione and I'm a co-director of Candy Abalone. We are specifically doing dried abalone. That is what we focus on, that's our goal. Our goal is to produce the best dried abalone in the world. The process actually of drying abalone is highly secretive. There are only a handful of people in the whole world that know how to dry properly. Candy abalone started due to the tsunami in Japan. Japan is renowned as the best dried abalone in the world, the most expensive abalone in the world. And basically after the tsunami, all the abalone had been lost. We took on board that this was a good opportunity to produce a really high-end Australian product. All our abalone is harvested from the ocean, so it's all wild caught. The co-director, James Polinoski, is a good diver, a gun diver we call him, and he will either harvest himself or we have other divers harvesting. When we harvest, it goes to another processor. They prepare the abalone for us, all the wet work, then we take it from there and do the drying phase. We use a lot of social media. We use WeChat for China and we use Instagram for Hong Kong and Australia. We've achieved our goal, but there's always room for improvement. We enjoy what we do. The more people tell us how good we are, the more we want to work. We're happy. We are happy to do what we do.
That is such a great idea, isn't it? Diving for wild abalone, drying it, and then selling it to a hungry Chinese market. But what happens when your only market suddenly dries up? Candy Abalone co-founder Mike Vecchione joins me now from Hobart via Skype. Mike, welcome to the program. What happened to your operations when COVID hit?
The tap turned off as quickly as I've ever seen a tap turn off. When COVID hit, it hit us hard the day after Chinese New Year Day. Now, business for us starts straight after Chinese New Year. So we had no visitors. They all went home. That was it. A domestic market was gone. Our export market starts just after Easter. So we had no revenue.
I suppose it was like getting hit like a sledgehammer out of the blue. How did you react? How worried were you?
Okay, of course we were worried. I think anyone would be worried that has to deal with the Asian market. but we were probably more worried about the industry as a whole, the abalone industry in Tasmania. Tasmania supplies 25% of the world's wild catch. Our little island is that big in abalone. It is a big part of our business and culture.
Did you look to other export markets, or how did you ride it out?
I don't know how you find another export market for abalone other than Asia. And if you did find another export market, the first thing they're going to say is, oh, you've got a crisis, haven't you? So we'll pay you half the price or a quarter of the price. So we weren't interested in devaluing our product. We focus a lot on export at the right times, and so we'd exported product. We'd received funds for these products, so we had money in the bank, so we were cashed up, so that's how we could survive. The money that was destined to buy a raw product was being used just to pay a little bit of overhead and a little bit of wages for ourselves.
What's in store for candy abalone?
Well, we've already started to export again. The market's starting to pick up. The number of inquiries, I've never seen so many inquiries. We're confident that the next 6 months are going to be pretty good for us, and we will catch up what we've lost in the first 6 months.
Wow, that's a fantastic position for abalone. Hopefully it's the same for our economy, and it can be a V-shaped recovery, just like you guys are experiencing. Mike, thanks for sharing your story. Really appreciate it.
Cheers. Thanks, David.
What a great industry, and an interesting story of survival and making most of the bounce back. After the break, your questions answered. Our expert guests reveal how exporters can easily survive the COVID crisis. Welcome back to Kochie's Business Builders, where we're putting small business first. Today we're talking about supporting exporters in a time of crisis, and joining us in the studio, the airport economist himself, Tim Harcourt, and New South Wales Small Business Commissioner, Chris Lamont. Welcome, gents.
David.
Tim, how are you finding exporters coping with this time?
Well, our traditional rocks and crops, the mining and farming, still going well because the world needs to eat soon, still. But we're finding manufacturers doing sort of new things like Gecko Systems in Ballarat. They're a mining manufacturer. They're now making ventilators. A lot of people quite nimble, but really tough on anything that involves the tyranny of social distance, like services or tourism.
Chris, what's the most common question coming from exporters for you in this environment?
Certainly whether the markets are still open and whether there are any additional trade restrictions or requirements to export their product or their goods or services. We've seen that particularly in the agriculture sector, where there have been some additional requirements. But importantly, we've also seen businesses who want to expand their exports into new markets or grow the volume of their exports.
Oh, that's encouraging, isn't it? That's really good. All right, while we've got you two here, let's get to the questions. Thank you, everyone, for sending them in. Angela from Brisbane asks, what are the best regions to export to, and what products or services do best there? Tim, do you have a top two?
Oh, look, it's still the Asian century, David. So I'd still say it's China, it's India, it's ASEAN, Southeast Asia, Japan, Korea. I mean, those emerging markets are still where it's at for
and
Australia.
And what are they after from us?
Oh, it's still agriculture, mining and education.
Chris Andrew from Sydney asks, what does being COVID safe mean for exporters, and how can the New South Wales government help?
Well, it starts with a COVID safety plan, and you can get more information on that at nsw.gov.au. You can then register to be a COVID safe business. Goes through all of the health checks that you need to have in your business around social distancing, around registering your customers, and importantly, your employees, to make sure they stay safe during this period.
Tim, Katerina from Melbourne asks, how important is it to build relationships with partners on the ground in the country you export to?
It always matters. Through thick and through thin, exporting is all about relationships. The good thing about Australia is that we've been able to build up our relationships, particularly in Asia.
Chris Suzanne from Tamworth asks, I'm only a small exporter and my online overseas sales have actually picked up during COVID. That's fantastic, Suzanne. Am I still eligible for state grants and funding support if I'm doing better?
Yeah, well, firstly, congratulations, Suzanne, on doing well in the current environment. Fantastic to hear. A couple of programs. Export Capability Building Program provides specialist expert advisors. Suzanne's from Tamworth. There is an expert advisor in Tamworth to help her.
Tim, Alex from Perth asks, how long do you think international and even state borders domestically will remain an issue for Australia's exporters?
Well, I'll tell you what. You know, Mr. Joyce has told me not to get on a Qantas flight internationally for 12 months. So, you know, basically we're doing all our airport economist shows here at home. Yeah. But state borders matter too.
Chris, James from Gosford asks, where should exporters go for more information about how to cope with COVID as well as other resources?
Two really important websites, nsw.gov.au, a range of information there on support and assistance, grants, latest webinars on how to stay COVID safe, as I mentioned before. Also Austrade, the latest information available to small business and business exporters there.
Thanks so much to the airport economist, Tim Harcourt. Great to see you. Chris Lamont from New South Wales Government, really appreciate your time as well and direction there. That's all we have time for today, but before we go, don't forget we've got a whole lot of digital booster bundles from Yellow that we're giving to our Small Business First community. Head over to the website for details about how to win one. And while you're there, make sure you list your business on our directory and post a short 30-second video like the ones you've seen right here on Kochie's Business Builders so we can keep putting small business first. Next week on Kochie's Business Builders, how digital marketing can help your business stand out, even in a crisis. Thanks again to our partners Canva, Google, MYOB, Officeworks, Salesforce, Scottish Pacific and Yellow. See you then.